They can find colleges. Now we are adding internship and job portal. Keenan and I had good conversation about that yesterday, and scholarships is what we are adding. So I would love to take this time where I'll show you on very high level what Cirkled In is, and then dive into the platform itself to walk you through each different piece of the platform. And feel free to interrupt me, Kent and Keenan, you also, if you have any new ideas, questions, absolutely happy to hear that. Okay, so first thing I always say, like, why? I start with why Cirkled In exists, why students need a professional platform for them. So the why is this, that today there are 78 million students in K-12 system in the United States, and today they don't have a professional platform that showcases who they are holistically and professionally. And if you look at all the applications they apply, especially in a post-COVID world, what is happening is the education and employment is overlapping a lot. The lateral path that used to be before 10, 20 years ago, where you have K-12, then college, then job, that is disrupted. Now it's K-12 and then job and college. They go back in parallel. So what students are doing is they are applying to much more applications, many more applications than they ever did. So just taking college as an example, 80% colleges have made SAT, ACT optional. And there are predictions they may never come back. Now imagine lacking a big component of college admissions, which was SAT, ACT, where our college is going, social media. They are checking out students' Instagram, Twitter, and this is not news. It has been in the making for the longest time. As long as social medias have been out there, colleges have been checking that, and not surprising, 1/3 of the time that acts as a negative input because students post their personal stuff there. Students don't post that I'm a great author, I am great pianist, I'm a great soccer player. They don't post anything like that. And so colleges only get half the picture, and that half the picture is actually a negative picture. So we want to change that. With Cirkled In, we are superimposing social media and the professional acumen that they have. So with Cirkled In, we are providing, it's a cloud-based student platform, which is for them to showcase themselves holistically. In very simple language, it's a modern, shareable online resume. And with that, what we hear from students, it not only gives them confidence that, oh, I didn't know I have done so much, to increasing their success rate. They create their profile, they compile all their records. It's one place, no losing, no forgetting. They can put their transcripts, their awards, all their clubs. They can take recommendations from teachers and coaches, and I'll show that to you. They can do future planning. We have very comprehensive college search already, and now jobs and internships are being added. And with that, our promise to students, one profile and less opportunities. This will be one place for students to compile everything they do and share that with the world for any and every application. One distinguishing, yes.
I'm going to interrupt you. Jaretta, excuse me, has just joined us.
Okay, perfect.
Hey.
Okay, awesome. So we are recording this call and we will share Jaretta afterwards, but happy to stay on and answer any questions that you may have. But hopefully, good thing is you have joined where we are just starting to talk about Cirkled In. And if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And my apologies for being late.
No worries. No worries. You are an educator. You don't need to apologize for anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it is one of the differentiation of Cirkled In than any other platform you may have used, whether it's Naviance, Score, Career Cruising, CapEx and Niche that students use on their own. Cirkled In is a K-16 platform. They can start as early as kindergarten, though we are focusing on high school. So from high school to college transition, and then they can continue using it in the college till their first job. You can imagine the use cases of this portfolio. The idea is that no matter what you are doing, no matter what stage of your life is, till the first job, and who knows, in the future, it may be second, it may be third. LinkedIn may not be around by the time these kids are on to their second job. So this is where we are bringing in the value by putting students at the center of the circle and bringing the whole ecosystem together. Everyone, we work with K-12 schools, nonprofits, on the right side, colleges, and adding employers and trade schools. So with Cirkled In, our goal is to create that LinkedIn type platform for Gen Z, giving them a place to not only tell their story, but showcase themselves in the best possible way and bringing in all the opportunities. So this is what the school offering looks like, and I will walk through each one of those. Students they are the foundation of our system. Above that, I'll show you what it looks like for teachers and counselors. And finally, for your school or school district, what it looks like. Any questions so far before we jump into the platform itself? Kent, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. You may be muted.
No questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's just jump in. Cirkled In. So Cirkled In, one thing is anytime, anywhere, any screen size access. It is accessible on, of course, big screen and phone and tablet and anywhere. You will see there are 3 different offerings. We do give out a $2,500 scholarship. So Cirkled In does not market at this moment. All our marketing funds are going towards the scholarship. Like I was mentioning, we are a social mission driven company. We want to help students get to a better quality of life all the way through the first job. So we contribute a little bit to that instead of marketing. Our message to students, you are more than a test score. Our message to you as educators is we will help you increase your student success and help you do your job. One thing very clearly I want to clarify here is that we know how busy educators are. My mom is a teacher, so firsthand experience. And we also know how passionate they are. So with Cirkled In, we are not giving yet one more thing for you to do. We are giving round wheels to your wagon. That's what we say. So let me jump in and show you what a student login looks like. This is what a student portal is. When they are logged in, they create their account. On top, me in action. Everything I do, we say picture is worth 1,000 words. So put that in a picture on what it looks like for you in action. So by putting pictures, they are showcasing themselves in the best possible way with, I just reloaded my computer. Yikes. Okay, let me go back in. You will see it is very UX UI friendly. And the reason it is that way, because we have interns all along from day one. We have high school students as well as college students who give us feedback on the product. Anytime we release a new feature, we get it tested by students and have them validate and approve. So here is a little bit about me. It starts with about me and high school academic snapshot. This is, for example, I'm here 12th grader. Here's my high school academic snapshot, my SAT, ACT score if you have. Now this profile is fully filled with the data because it's a test record as well. But most students will not have SAT, ACT, so this will not show up in their record. We want to show what it looks like if that data is there. They can have their AP courses and stuff like that. And meat of the platform for students is in profile. We designed these 7 categories after interviewing 100 colleges and 3 dozen employers. So you can see the categories: academics, supplemental learning, summer activity, that's group, music and sports, and then volunteering and internship. So here's my 11th grade. I can put my courses, including AP courses, all my clubs and awards and activities. I can put links to videos, pictures, anything you can imagine is all in here. my FBLA. Here's a link to my coding website. I can put my transcripts. So for example, this is my, let's say, ACT test score. My computer is running really slow today. I have too many Chrome tabs open, almost 100. So we need to close some of those at some point. So here's my test score, as well as my transcript. So I can put my transcript in here. And like I said, pictures. It has single sign-on integration, as well as integration with Google Drive and OneDrive. So it's very easy drag and drop functionality they have. In addition, they can take recommendations from teachers and coaches. Now, this is not sealed envelope recommendation from the counselor. In fact, it's from my soccer coach, my piano teacher. I can track my volunteering hours. This is one thing we hear from counselors and students at how valuable that is. At the same time, they can take recommendation from the organization where they volunteered or where they did some internship. And then with click of a button, they can share this profile with anyone and everyone. They are applying to a college. They can take this link and put it in Common App as well. They can send right from here to, let's say, Microsoft for internship, to McDonald's for part-time job. Anyone and everyone can see this profile. And when they receive, they just click on the link they received, and this is what they see. Your guest does not have to have an account or anything like that. They just click on it and they see it. So this is what my profile looks like. And then beyond high school plan is where they decide what they want to do. Now, like I was mentioning, Cirkled In is very equitable solution, meaning whether you are going to four-year college or job, apprenticeship, military, this is for you. So if you say, I'm going to go do a job, it's only going to ask you start time and commitment. If you say four-year college, it'll ask you major of interest and financial aid. So it's adaptive platform. You can put your gap year, all your courses are here, and then there is a college search functionality. But before I go into that, let me pause here and see if there are any questions that I can answer. Looks like no. Okay. So when it comes to college database, Cirkled In is the only comprehensive platform that actually has trade schools in it. So you can find Jean Vora's Beauty Academy if you want to. Students can come in, search by name or different filters here, like I'm looking for suburban, public school, degree offered, annual tuition less than 20,000, 25,000, whatever, my test score, including my graduation rate, my gender that I'm interested in and stuff like that. And then for each college, there is a dedicated page. This is one thing counselors who are also actually parents many times, they say, this is the best thing after slice of bread. Why? Because everything you need to know about, let's say CSU Fresno here, is all here. From demographics to services and the admission criteria, how many apply, how many get in, gender ratio, everything is here, test score. And I'm sure you have seen similar websites that have very rich data on colleges for each college. We are enhancing this data as we speak. Actually, this data come from federal government. So students can play with some of the graphs here when it comes to financials, net price. So very clear, very nicely laid out, and then they can put this college or any college in their favorite college list. And with that, they can create their favorite college list. Now, here's another differentiating factor. Cirkled In is the only platform that tells students that these are the colleges who are interested in you as a student. So it can say, hey, Kent, here is Brevard College, or here is Willamette University that's interested in you, or ASU. And these are the colleges, by the way, that are using Cirkled In to find the candidates. So unlike College Board and ACT, here colleges can come in, look for all the students that meet their criteria, are going to be successful, not only get into college, but hopefully graduate from college, and then they reach out to those students. And we tell that to students. With that, we believe we are creating the bridge from both sides, starting the communication and making the process much easier for students. In addition, we also show here who are the people that if you send your Cirkled In profile from here, these are the people who have seen your profile that you sent to them. Other thing very quickly, I'll show you job and internship portal. This is something we are testing right now in Washington, Oregon, and California. It's going to launch nationwide in about a month or so in fall. So idea here is that we are bringing internships, entry-level and part-time jobs to students. So this becomes one hub of opportunities for every student. And last, but definitely not the least, is the scholarship. So we also have scholarship database that we are building. Of course, this is our scholarship that we have. In addition, there are other scholarships that we add in here. Students can go in, find details about that scholarship, and then also apply. One thing we are working on with colleges as well, and eventually with employers, is where they will take Cirkled In as an application. So if you have a Cirkled In profile as a student, and let's say you go to a college page, you will be able to do what we call one-click application. There will be a button here. That one-click application will take your Cirkled In profile and send it to that college. Any questions on student side? And just one thing very quickly to mention is we have gamification. So we have point system. It engages students a lot. Our students are spending 3 times more time on Cirkled In than other benchmark data. That's as per Google Analytics. And when our bounce rate is minimal, which is fascinating considering how high it is for the industry. So whatever we have built, it's actually resonating fairly well with students. So we are very excited about that part. And then we tell them profile completion. Other thing I should also mention that when a school uses or not, either way, we work with students directly. We engage with students on regular basis. So we may come out and say, hey, Keenan, your sports category is empty. So we have an artificial intelligence engine that runs at night, and then it sends personalized recommendation to the students based on their grade, based on their profile, all of that stuff. So we have built that engine. It's not one of those products where we'll say, hey, here you go, school, go use it. We work hand in hand with the counselors and schools because we are working in the background with every student that is on Cirkled In, because we want them to put in as much data as they can on their profile. Any questions? So let me ask you guys this, Kent and Gerarda, do you, what tools do you use today at your schools for college and career readiness, if any?
This is my first year. I'll go, Kent. This is my first year as a high school college and career counselor. Okay. And I was just introduced to SCOIR, SCOIR. Yes. And I was going to spend the week and the weekend learning it. How do you guys relate to, or how you differentiate yourselves from SCOIR?
Very good question. Yes. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up and you asked the question. So SCOIR is a replacement for Naviance. If you are familiar with Naviance, Naviance is a very old tool, let's just say, like I think 15 years ago, they launched the product in the market. So SCOIR is looking to disrupt Naviance. And I'll tell you how we are different from Naviance and SCOIR. Cirkled In belongs to students. That is, and what I mean by that is we say our loyalties are to students. Everything we do on Cirkled In is for them. And with that, we are bringing value to students, creating a profile they not only use for college, which is a pipe. So Naviance, SCOIR, all these platforms, they are a data pipe between your school and the college where students are applying to. So if you as a counselor have to send a letter, to USC, let's say, you'll say, hey, USC, here is Kent's application or the recommendation letter. So it's very much counselor and school focused, if that is what you like to do. Whereas Cirkled In is, think of it is literally like a solution that is focused on student. It is owned by student, data is owned by student. 2, it is used for all those different multiple use cases. Don't know if you saw that slide or not, but students can use Cirkled In for not only college, but internship, summer job, scholarship, any volunteering application they are applying to. So that is the second one. 3, all platforms like Score and Naviance, they get cut off after high school graduation, whereas Cirkled In is K through 16 because we have the employment piece. So I had a meeting just before this. Colleges use something called Handshake. Handshake is their job board. It looks like you're familiar with that. So we were talking about how Cirkled In is disrupting Handshake because employers do not like Handshake. And also with Cirkled In, if it is a K through 16, then in that K through 16 platform, students can start building in 9th grade or even 8th grade or even sooner, depending on their school setting. And they can keep building that and hit the ground running when they get to their first job, all the way to first job or any job and internship. So Score, Naviance, Career Cruising, all those tools are very high school focused. We are more of a 30,000 foot level. Also, I think Score does have a profile, but most students start that in 11th grade. Because just like Naviance, in 11th grade, it's like 11th grade, let's do something, junior year. Whereas with Cirkled In, because they can start using the profile even in 9th grade. So there's a longevity, there's multiple use cases, and then bringing the whole ecosystem together. And what we mean by that, we work with homeschool families. We also work with nonprofits. So let's say you are in Baldwin High School as well as in Boys and Girls Club. And somebody is working with you in Boys and Girls Club on your college or post high school prep, then they can see the same profile. Does that answer your question?
I think I could add to that, Jaretta, because I use both here at Maui Prep and see them as very, very different. I believe we are the first school in the state to use Score, and one of the first to be using Cirkled In as well. And I still use both. My kids are going to do everything in Score in terms of telling me where they're applying to colleges. I'm going to send transcripts and letters of recommendation to colleges through Score. But we have the kids owning their profile on Cirkled In, and they're basically using it to enhance their application. I'm a big proponent in the year 2022 with the test optional movement is kids need to find ways to stand out. And we're telling our students there are 3 different pathways. You can be an elite athlete or performing artist, very few. You can have standout SAT scores, great, study for 500 hours and maybe yes and maybe no. Or 3, you can demonstrate intellectual curiosity and a love of learning. And I'm finding 99% of our kids are choosing demonstrating intellectual curiosity. And one of the ways that they are doing that and presenting themselves to colleges is through their Score profile. So it gives them a chance to kind of own their pathway. And again, they are sharing it directly in a few different ways with colleges, depending on the kid. And I really see that being the value. To me, it's a digital resume, as well as has all these other tools that Ritu mentioned, but just the aspect of being able to present yourself in a positive way to colleges so you can really stand out. If I'm in a college office and I get a detailed profile and a feel for a kid's passions and interests and what excites them, I know it's way more likely they're going to choose that kid as an admit than a kid that they don't have any of that information, or frankly, they just have an average test score. So I see it as something we're going to implement school-wide this year. We did it with our high school last year. Haven't gotten as far as I would have liked, but looking to grow that. And my idea is that a kid will own this early on. We've also done student-led conferences annually at Maui Prep. So my hope is that kids will actually be presenting their Cirkled In portfolio in a student-led conference. That's where I think it's going to become something that helps them stand out, is they get hooked on it early.
Okay.
And
thank
Keenan,
you.
when you said score in your previous sentence, did you mean Cirkled In or did you mean score?
I did it again. So I unfortunately mentally mixed the two, but to me, there's really little to no crossover in the service that they provide for my kids. Sorry, Ritu.
That's okay. That's okay. So just to clarify, you're saying that Cirkled In profile and portfolio is what students can use to showcase themselves to colleges, whereas score is more of administrative.
Tell me she froze on your side too.
Communicate.
Now we
lose
lost. Oh,
you.
you
Yes.
froze for a minute, Ritu.
Okay.
Oh. Keenan, just to clarify, I don't know if you heard my question or not.
Yes, Cirkled In is the platform that students use to market themselves to college, where Score is the platform I use to send documents to colleges and monitor school forms on my end. Kids will use both to search for colleges on their own. That's common.
Perfect.
So-
Thank you for clarification, Keenan. Jared, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And would it behoove me to have both? Or does Cirkled In encompass what Score does? Can I send transcripts to the colleges?
Not through Cirkled In, not to colleges. Now, having said that, Cirkled In is more student focused. Having said that, like I was mentioning, we are, or I don't know if I mentioned this or not, right now, just confidentially, I know this meeting is being recorded. We are in conversation with at least some colleges where they will be most likely 99% using Cirkled In as an application itself for fall 23. And that's just the beginning. So what does that mean? You as a student, when you have your list here, you can go to any of these colleges and apply right from Cirkled In. To answer your question about transcript, student, there's something called self-reported GPA. I don't know if you have heard that or not. So self-reported GPA is becoming very popular in colleges. They are saying, I want students to tell me what their GPA is. They don't even want to know your transcript. Having said that, students can put their transcript right here on Cirkled In profile and just send this profile as either an attachment to college. Here's my Lake Washington School District transcript. I can put that. I can put my test score. I can put my pictures of choir performance, anything and everything I can put in here, and then they will receive that. What you can do, and I'll show you on the teacher side when I show you that login, you can write a recommendation like this. Now, this is not sealed envelope recommendation. I will say that because colleges want to move away from that too. It's a new era of college admissions we are entering into, if you look at it, right? The days of coveted and sealed envelope recommendation are gone. Everything is out there on social media. The practices that are being used in the market today, they are literally 100-year-old. SAT was instituted 100 years ago. I'm not kidding. We wrote a blog about that, by the way. So that time, we didn't even have color television. Think about it. We didn't even have walkie-talkie. Like, it was that primitive. Now, kids are born with iPhone in their hand. They are on TikTok 7 hours a week or whatever that number is. So the whole paradigm is shifting, and with Cirkled In, students are getting an opportunity to showcase holistically, and colleges are recognizing that. Colleges are seeing that old ways are not working. Believe it or not, colleges are struggling to meet their enrollment goals and quota. They spend $10 billion every year, and that is why they are coming to platforms like Cirkled In to find the best fit students, so they don't have to spend $10 billion. So I will say, to answer your high-level question, just start with Cirkled In. Don't use Score, use only Cirkled In and see how your kids like it. And like I mentioned, we engage high school students. We are involved with their usage of Cirkled In. One thing we were very clear that we did not want to be that 66% software that K-12 system buys and sits on the shelf. We want to be that 33% that's used by students, not on daily basis. We are not TikTok or Instagram, but at least every other week basis or once a month basis. And we work very hard for that, towards that.
Good. I need for my students to start engaging earlier, number one, more often, number two, and independently, number three.
Yes.
Because we have, well, I have so many now. And again, being brand new, I put my 2 children through college without any assistance from the counselor. Not that the counselor wouldn't have given it. It's just that I thought it was a thing that a parent should do. Now I just answered an email this morning with a parent asking me, can I give their kids all of the tools, I'll say it one more time, all of the tools that they need to get into college. And I'm taken aback by this because one, I'm not used to it, and two, I did it on my own and successfully. This will help me, or a platform like this will help me push them in a direction where they can help themselves, because I can sit across from a child, and I usually do. Here my it's been 30 days now, 30 days being here at Kihei Charter, where I'm speaking with students, and most of them are 11th and 12th grade, and they just have zero clue of where to go. I know that in my, if this is anywhere like LinkedIn, all of my information is out there, and people have been contacting me about jobs. I really need to stop that. Turn it off, say I got a job.
Yes.
But if it's similar to that, then this is a tool that we want them to have.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me, Keenan, to this. I'm impressed so far.
Thank you. Here's profile. Here are colleges, all 7,000, including trade schools. Information on each college, job and internships, everything they need to know. And of course, not to mention the scholarship and maintaining your list. So everything is at one place. This is very much inspired by Instagram, inspired by LinkedIn, made for kids, secure, all of that stuff. Just so you know, we have an RFP with Houston ISD, which is the 7th largest in the country. They have 200,000 plus students. And right now we are doing their second RFP because 3-year contract has ended. Now extension for next 5 years. So those are the and also Molokai High School in Hawaii is actually, this is their 2nd year. They love Cirkled In. They have not used anything else. They are only 100% relying on Cirkled In.
I just want to add to Molokai, because I work with them closely. They're requiring their students to use it for graduation.
Yes, which was so shocking to us. Keenan, did you hear that? Like
the first school to do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they are saying, hey, students, your profile completion here needs to be at least 50% for you to graduate high school. That's how much they believe in Cirkled In. So, Okay, let me quickly log out and show what it looks like for a student, sorry, for a teacher or counselor or a coach. Even if you have soccer coach who was looking to use or connect with some of your students, you can do that. So if you are a teacher or counselor, you will log in using this. Again, same thing, circledin.com, anytime, anywhere, any screen access. You go to teacher and then I'm going to log in. It is a demo account, so it doesn't look as realistic, but it will give you pretty good idea on what it looks like. And like I was saying, our goal is not to give you yet one more thing to do. Oops, if I can log in. But give you a tool to do your job, to make your job much easier. So very simple thing. As a teacher, you only have two functions in Cirkled In. One is view, other is validate. So it starts with a little bit of, your profile. Here's your dashboard, and there's a pop-up that'll come, and I'll talk briefly about that. So your dashboard tells you either for all your classes or one class at a time. You can go by classes or you can go by all classes. Two things we focus on: how much students are spending their time on Cirkled In, and what is their profile completion. Unlike Instagram and TikTok, this is very useful. So we want them to spend more time. And this is our tracking that you have to be able to get to 50% or more. And then you have your GPA spread. Like I mentioned, this is a test account, so it doesn't look super realistic, but this is your dashboard. And then your main function here is to view the student. So you have your classes organized. You name these classes however you want. It has nothing to do with what is in your SIS. You name orange, blue, red, we can name them orange, blue, red. Then all your students are organized by that. Most teachers go by class of 2023, class of 2024. We have many schools that use for their AVID program or CTE program. So however you want to arrange, one student will be connected to multiple teachers, multiple classes. That's totally fine. You as a teacher come in, see your classes, and you can say view profile of any of your students. And then this is the profile you will be able to view. And this is the student I was showing you before. Little bit about me, my high school academic snapshot, those 7 categories. You can see all their media files, their transcripts, their coding websites, anything and everything that you would like to see about the student is all here. In addition, here is their future plan. So if you are working with them 4-year college, okay, looking to do biomed, very important financial aid, stuff like that. All your courses are here, anything they enter there. And this is when they graduate post high school, they are done, then they can put in that information as well. So as a teacher, you can view any individual student you want. In 30-second view, you know pretty much everything about the student in terms of their professional identity. Then second function is validate. So you can select one student or one class or even multiple classes, and then you can recommend. Example that I give out, if let's say your class did volunteering over the weekend. So you can go and select your whole class or multiple classes, and then you can write a recommendation for them in literally 2 sentences, 3 sentences, 1 paragraph, add a file. This recommendation will show up all these students' profile in one go. This is one feature teachers really like because they are multiplying the output of their same effort. Instead of writing 20 different recommendations, most likely you will not get to do that. In one writing, you can put that in 20 students or even 50 students if you want to. So that is all. And then you can see your recommendations right here. Here's a pending recommendation. Anytime you log in, it will tell you there's a pending recommendation. Here are recommendations you have completed for each kid, and you can view profile, you can view that recommendation and stuff like that. That's simple. So for teachers, not much work at all, giving you insights and then letting you view your students and validate your students, and that's all. And you will see the user interface is also, we have made super simple, super easy to use. And one thing I will say, we are always looking for feedback. If you have any comment, any suggestion, or any idea, please feel free to send it to us and we will process that. And if we feel that that is a good comment, we will incorporate that. Any questions on the student part? Sorry, on the teacher side. Kent, does this something that do we still have Kent or did we lose him?
I'm still here. Sounds
okay.
good. Everything's sounding great.
Yeah. Kent, what do you use in your school? I didn't get to catch that.
Sorry, I'm the dinosaur in the group. I do everything one by one. I have the students make profiles on just templates that I've created through Google Docs, and
wow.
we just go one at a time, one kid at a time and one thing at a time.
Wow. Yeah. Well, kudos to you, Kent. I will say that. So, do you see the value in Cirkled In? Do you think something like Cirkled In will be helpful for your students?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think, you know, every time I talk to everybody about it, the challenge at my school is the buy-in from the rest of our staff. And that's kind of why I do everything individually, because I just don't get as much help and support throughout the school. So it's easier for me to get the kids one-on-one and have them just do things with me versus kind of giving them the free reins of doing things. We've tried some other programs and some other things, and it just turned out to be the value of what the kids do versus what they would do on their own. It hasn't matched up in the past. So we're always looking for something new, something that will, you know, kind of reach more, I guess, more students. And
actually this, I mean, first of all, kudos to you. I have 2 kids. I couldn't do that with 2 of them even. I don't know how do you do with friends for sure. This is something, it is sort of one-on-one, right? So you have your whole list of students that you can work with, and it's the standard template. So one of the things very, very early on, like years ago when we started Cirkled In, like in 2015, this idea about Google Doc or Google Drive was fine. Why? Because there was no better method. But as time has gone on, nobody opens your Google Drive or OneDrive if you share that. Why? Because they don't know if there's a virus or malware in there. No college, if you share your Google profile, nobody will open that. And that is one of the differentiation with Cirkled In, is because it's a HTTPS, which is a secure website, and it's cirkledin.com. Colleges know about us. So when they receive a profile of that, or employers, they will click on it because they are now used to LinkedIn type platform on employment side, right? And as for your work, if a student, all your students have similar looking profile, it's easier for you to manage them too, right? Like, of course, content will be unique to them, whatever they do. It's all their material, whether it's music or volunteering or whether it's, you know, supplemental learning. But for you as a teacher, one, it is all in the similar template at one place. And with the teacher login, you can view profile right from here. You can write individual one-on-one recommendation if you want to. And best part is that your students are getting a lot more from their effort than just putting something on a Google Drive. Right? That is the value. Students, time is the new currency these days, both for students and us as adults. So. Okay, any question on the teacher side that I can answer? And by the way, like I was mentioning, we do have Cirkled In app with Microsoft. You probably don't, looks like you had trouble with Teams. That means you're not a Microsoft school. But if you were a Microsoft school, there is an integration with Microsoft as well. We are premier EdTech partner with Microsoft. We are in the same town as Microsoft. So we are Co-market, co-sell, the highest level of education partnership that you can find with Microsoft. We have that. We are hosted on their cloud, which is, gives you 5 nines of availability and reliability, which is very common these days. Nothing differentiating there, to be honest. But just so you know that Microsoft is with us or behind us, so to speak. Any questions?
Ritu, I had a quick question. The teacher I saw where you can send a recommendation, but can you just send a quick message? For example, hey, you did great in your English paper. You might want to add it to your Cirkled In account.
Very
or
good
here's
question,
a picture
Keenan.
from our event that you might want to upload to your Cirkled In account.
Yes, so it is on a roadmap. That is the short answer. Long answer is we thought hard whether we should add an inbox here or not. And we thought that our audience wouldn't want to have one more inbox to check. There are too many inboxes out there, right? There is a notification on student page. It's a lot more apparent. On teacher page, it just pops up. On a student, there is a notification. So one thing that we have on our roadmap is that as a teacher, if I can send a message, it can do 2 things. One, it can go as an email to their inbox, whatever they have it registered here. And 2, it can go in as a prompt in their notification. So next time when they log in, it says, hey, message from Keenan, and whatever that message will be. So it is on our roadmap. It's not there today.
Great. I know I am going to have to run in a minute.
Yes. Yes, and we are pretty much on top of the hour. There is a school login that I can show you guys if anyone is interested, which is the 3rd layer top. And what that has, it's more of dashboards. You don't have to use it on daily basis or even monthly basis. This is more of an annual basis where you can look at where your students are going post high school graduation. We have tracking, and then we also have where they are working post their higher education as well. Kent and Gerard, any interest in seeing that, or no?
Would this be, yes, would this be included in the pricing or is separate?
It is included in the pricing.
Yes, please let me see it.
Yes, absolutely. So that is the final top level, and it's funny how many different ways schools are using that, including private schools. They're using it for their accreditation, which is very interesting to us. So one of the pain points that we saw, schools don't know where their students are going post high school. And since we have K through 16 platform, again, differentiating from SCORE or Naviance or Career Cruising, because we have K through 16, students continue using in college, we can come back and tell your high school, hey, 40% of your students went to 4-year college. So we have 3 different dashboards on the school side. First one is monitoring. This is your current school year students. These are the similar dashboards that you had at the teacher level, and now they're at the school level. What is the profile completion of your students? How much time they are spending? It's almost like it's not math app or math bio textbook, but it's to some extent you want them to spend a little bit more time on their profile. What is their future plan? How many students have decided where they are going post high school? The GPA spread. And then this is, again, demo account, so it doesn't look very realistic, but it's the profile completion over school year. Like we were just talking about, Molokai has made graduation requirement. So if you have that, 50% or more, how many of my students have done that this school year? So that is current school year. The next one is tracking. This is where are they now? So your graduates, 5 different pathways: 4-year, 2-year, military, apprenticeship, and job. And of course, they can say, I don't know yet. That's very common answer you will hear from high schools many times. I don't know what I want to do, which is fine. So these are those 5, and then performance year over year. So let's say you want to see how many of my students, what is the trend for 4-year college? So you will be able to see the trend once you have used it for 3 years or more. So that is that. The final one is the performance. This is actually one of my favorite because it shows where your students are working. Fortune 50, Fortune 500, nonprofits, government, or they are doing their own business, which is awesome. So you can track that. And by the way, all these are interactive graphs. You can play with them and you can see each individual category if you want to. Performance year over year, same thing. Comparison with state and country. Now, of course, this is like, as you can see, these are further along on their timeline after they graduate their college or whatever. So it will take time for this data to be populated for your school. So those are the 3 different dashboards that schools are interested in. This is where schools are using it for even accreditation. That many of my students, X% of my students are going to 4-year college. One of the private school we know here in Washington State, they were looking at it to get the funding from their donors and saying, hey, look, my trend is going in the wrong direction and I want more of my students to go to 4-year college. So they will be able to do that. Second piece is configuration. Here are all your teachers. You can see it's all dummy data. For each teacher and students, you can see the same data through student lens, how many teachers each student has tied to, and then class data is where all the classes are. So for example, your AVID period 2, you can see teachers for that, or you can see students for that, your AP3 chemistry. Goal is not that your teachers are using it. They can if they want to. In most of the schools, it's usually the high school counselor, college and career guidance, BRACE advisor, different names. They are the ones who are using it. But if a student wants to have recommendation from, let's say, biology teacher, my daughter did actually, she's like, oh, I need recommendation from biology teacher. So she added her teacher in Cirkled In, and then a teacher can see that student's profile, and then they can write the recommendation right there. If you are Microsoft School, we have SDS, which is the school data sync, automatically does that. This is another thing, all your graduates will show up here as well. And they are included for no cost, just like teachers, year over year, and you will still be able to view their profile because they are still tagged to your school. So that is what a school login looks like. Questions? So, Jareda, am I saying it right? I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher your name.
No, it's perfect, Jareda.
Jareda, okay. So Jareda, is this something that looks interesting to you? I think going by how you were expecting your students to be independent, kudos to you for doing that. By the way, my kids are very independent, and I can't imagine being a counselor where they have 453 student workload and so much work to do. You want students to be more independent. So I think good luck with that. You definitely need, but do you think this is something that can help your students?
Oh, yes. From this meeting, I'm going to walk to my principal's office because I literally just got an email about SCORE while I was listening to you, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to read that later. If they're not interested, which I want them to be, I'm going to purchase it myself.
Oh,
yeah.
Smart.
Sure, no worries. I want to work smarter, not harder. I do not want to. I want them to be engaged in their own life, because when they are, they make really good decisions when they have our assistance, but I can see what you're doing so far. Like right now, I have a couple of kids who aren't doing anything, but their parents want them to go, and they're just haphazardly meeting me kind of thing. And I feel like I'm leading the horse to water and drowning this horse. And what I want to do is just show this horse where to go and then walk away, let go of the reins, and this horse jumps right on in. They are constantly on their phones. So if this platform is accessible through their phones and they can drop in pictures and do all that stuff via their phones, then SCORE. not my bad. I use score because I'm a football fan and a baseball fan,
Oh,
but
okay.
not because of the score. It kind of worked out that I learned this just last week. I was like, oh, cool, score, because I say it so much. Touchdown is what I usually say. So touchdown to Cirkled In. Again, I use my LinkedIn. I update my profile as, you know, life changes for me.
Exactly.
And then I read stuff and I interact with other folks via it. And if Cirkled In is comparable, then score. My bad. I'll say it again. Touchdown.
Touchdown. Yes.
Yes.
Maybe we should change our name to Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Jaretta, what can we provide for you to help you walk into your principal's office and have that conversation?
I think it might be a second visit for me if I don't go in first. And what I know, I am going to create an account as a student. I don't know if that's cheating, but that's what I'm going to do.
Totally
and
fine.
then learn it, as drop some stuff in, make a very high profile, and then scroll through. The only thing that would be discerning, I would imagine, only because I guess you guys know Key Charter's charter better than I do, perhaps, because again, 30 days, been 30 days. It might be the money thing, but once again, if I went to the website and I calculated it perfectly, I could do it in a paycheck for at least a year. So I'm okay with that. I need, operative word in that sentence, I need something that's going to be easy and effective. And so far I'm seeing easy. And if I have access to 7,000 schools, I sat here last week and I was looking for schools for kids who want to be at specific places. And I'm like, I cried a little. That's a lot of work, Kent.
You don't have to. You have that here.
Right.
Wow.
I may have missed or blinked, or my focus gazed away. ACT and SAT scores, can they be put in? I know that you said GPAs can be. Well, then once again, this seems like a no-brainer. I am going to work it out myself by starting a profile. And I went back, went on the website as I was listening, and I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah. So yeah, other thing I'll tell you, there are example profiles on the top right. If you create an account, once you create the account, you will see example profile for elementary, middle, high, and college student. And we encourage students to click on that. You can click on any of those and get idea on what to put in your profile. And also you will see when you create the account, initially, there's a welcome guide. So we have used some of the industry experts and their knowledge. So for example, the welcome guide is like TurboTax. If TurboTax can change the whole country to do their own taxes, we can make kids do their profile. So when you initially start Cirkled In, there's a welcome guide. It's like TurboTax. It's going to ask you a few questions that you will answer, and it'll give you a good start. One suggestion that we give to counselors is, someone like you, don't take any meeting with students till they have filled in at least one, their high school, and at least one of the other activities in other 6 categories. Then you give them the meeting. Say, I need to know about you. This is the first thing you need to do when you start your 9th grade. Because in 9th grade, what do the counselors say? Create a list. What is Cirkled In? Fancy list. Jaretta, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I was just saying it because I'm an old counselor and I need to say and hear things 6 or 7 times before I get it. And I'm like, yes, it's a fancy list. That's it. I was just repeating. I also sat down. I was standing up, and as the elevator was, my desk was going down. I'm like, oh, it's not catching up fast enough. They're going to think I'm weird. I'm not weird. I just sat down.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, why don't we, I know we are a little bit over our time and I want to be very respectful of your time. Thank you for giving your time. Really appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to answering any questions you have, anyone, any material we can provide, or Juretta, if needed, can get on a call with your principal, walk them through this. Would love to host your students and truly make Cirkled In a platform where colleges, employers, scholarship providers, everybody can find the best fit talent. And for kids, one place to tell their story and one place to be found, get discovered.
Yes, very good. Thank you. I will be reaching out. Thank you.
Please do. Kent, any questions from your side?
No, not right now. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Absolutely. Let us know if this is something you want to explore further. Happy
sure.
to share any material as needed or anything else.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay.
Keenan.
Bye, everyone. I have to run.
Bye, Keenan.
Yes.
And thank you again.
Thanks, Keenan.